Mr. Ransom works for the local CBS affiliate. You've covered politics for a long time. What did you think about the crowd?
Oh, there's nothing like it. It was a very, everybody says it's kind of like going to a concert, and that's kind of how it feels. And the excitement that they have is they're walking up and just can't wait to see what he's going to say.
The energy of this crowd, I've never seen maybe one time a political energy or frenetic energy at a political gathering like this.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny, boosters were hoping that there'd be 18 to 30,000. No, we got nowhere near that. I was guessing 2/3 of the hangar full, probably 4,000 or 5,000, somewhere in there. But I mean, these folks were standing up for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Some of them elderly, some of them struggling with that, but they were willing to do it to see their candidate.
My wife got in a half an hour late. She was in traffic out there for an hour and a half. She said that they screwed up at the entry level. People were turning around.
Oh, they just gave up.
Yeah.
A lot of folks. That's probably true.
So she was determined. My 4 boys were here with her, so she was determined to get in. He took a pretty hard shot at those of us in the press, as you know, he does regularly.
He always does, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But what small town reporters, and I include us in that, very different than the DC New York corridor.
Mm-hmm.
Very different mindset. I mean, speak to how you feel the New York DC press have covered him.
Well, he complains a lot about the media, but I've never seen a candidate get more free media than he does. So honestly, I think on that one issue, maybe I'm biased on this one because I'm partial to my brethren, but I think he's wants to have his cake and eat it too.
Yes.
And you turn on.
He's a master at it.
He is. I mean, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they all will carry his speeches in their entirety because, I mean, they're entertaining to watch.
Yep.
So as much as he complains, and maybe he gets an article here and there in the New York Times that makes him upset, but by and large, I think he's winning that battle pretty well.
He is getting enormous coverage. I've never seen anything like it. I cover his campaign probably as much as all the rest of them combined on my show because it's interesting, because there's one headline after another, one soundbite after another. But I think what he's talking about is that elite, that George Will, that New York Times editorial board that are so clueless as to what's going on here.
How can you not love how he's just turning the whole process on its head? And it's not just the elite media, but the elite politicians as well. And I do think it speaks to how out of touch people in the Beltway are when it comes to the mood of the public. And I think they're only now finally starting to realize, maybe we're a little out of touch on that altogether.
What are you hearing from your contacts in the GOP establishment locally?
As far as who they support, I think a lot of them still are mostly establishment types. They are more than half the ones I can think of would tell you that they're Rubio supporters. There are some, state lawmakers that have announced that they're for Ted Cruz, but still there's a real reluctance, except for Terry Rowland here, the Shelby County Commissioner, a real reluctance to say that they're for the guy who a lot of people don't consider to be a real Republican.
It's funny, his numbers after South Carolina and Nevada, the size of, not just the size of the vote, but the depth of the vote on just about every level are astounding. I mean, really and truly, that's almost a Republican dream come true. If they could have had Jeb Bush get that many women, that many poorly educated, that many well-educated, that many Hispanic, they would be elated.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's why I think finally people were, saying it took 10 debates. You finally saw some people who, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, saying maybe we really need to attack this guy. But the conventional wisdom is, and I think on this score the pundits are right, it's probably too late.
Right. He's gonna do really well on Super Tuesday. My assessment is, you address this, they need to keep 5 candidates in. The only way to deny him the majority going into the convention is if he keeps getting below 50% because of the division of the delegates.
Yeah, although, I think a lot of the candidates who are not Trump want to believe that if somebody would just get out of the race, all those supporters would go to somebody besides Donald Trump, and I don't think there's any indication of that at all.
I agree.
At all.
Well, I enjoy watching you. You're a good journalist, and it's a pleasure to meet you, Richard.
Glad to have you in Memphis.